The truth about Helena Blavatsky and the soul's journey after death will shake everything you thought you knew about your family. What I'm about to reveal has been deliberately hidden from humanity for centuries. The secret societies, religious institutions, and government shadow agencies have worked tirelessly to keep this information buried because it threatens their very foundation of control. They know that once you understand how your soul actually chose your family before birth, their power over you crumbles instantly. This knowledge has been suppressed precisely because it is the key to breaking free from the invisible prison they've constructed around human consciousness. Did you ever wonder why certain ancient texts mysteriously disappeared from public view? Why the most profound spiritual manuscripts were locked away in Vatican vaults? The answer is simple, yet devastating. Powerful forces don't want you to know that you chose your family, your challenges, and your life path before you were born. They prefer you believe you're a victim of circumstance rather than a powerful spiritual being making deliberate choices for your evolution. What Helena Blavatsky accessed during her remarkable trance states wasn't just information. It was a direct threat to the control system that keeps humanity in spiritual amnesia. The material she channeled revealed that we exist within a cosmic simulation, a carefully constructed matrix designed to keep us from remembering our divine origins. This cosmic game board, where souls incarnate repeatedly, isn't random at all. Each placement is deliberate. Each family constellation carefully selected by the soul itself for maximum growth potential. The institutions meant to guide us spiritually have instead become the gatekeepers of this hidden knowledge. Churches, governments, educational systems, all part of the machinery that maintains our collective forgetting. When Blavatsky revealed that souls consciously select their next incarnation, she exposed the fundamental lie at the heart of these controlling systems, that we are powerless, sinful beings in need of salvation from outside ourselves. I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your location in the comments so I can see how far this crucial message is spreading despite attempts to suppress it. What makes Blavatsky's revelations so threatening to the establishment is how they completely invert our understanding of family relationships and suffering. The pain you've experienced wasn't random bad luck or divine punishment. According to the hidden knowledge she accessed, your soul specifically selected these challenges before birth. That difficult mother, absent father, challenging sibling, all souls you made agreements with to help each other evolve. The cosmic drama playing out in your kitchen and living room was scripted with your full participation before you took your first breath. If this resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe to receive more hidden truths that have been kept from humanity for far too long. These videos are constantly being suppressed, and your engagement helps others find this life-changing information. The historical evidence supporting Blavatsky's revelations is overwhelming once you know where to look. Ancient Egyptian texts describe the Hall of Ma'at, where souls review their lives and plan their next incarnation. Tibetan Buddhists documented the Bardo states where consciousness chooses its next vehicle. Even Plato hinted at the soul's deliberate choice of life circumstances in his myth of Er. These traditions span continents and millennia, yet they converge on the same essential truth. The soul consciously selects its family environment for specific evolutionary purposes. Modern quantum physics inadvertently supports these ancient insights. The observer effect, quantum entanglement, and the collapse of probability waves all point to consciousness as fundamental to reality. The scientific establishment remains willfully blind to the implications, that consciousness exists beyond the body and actively shapes physical manifestation, including the family we incarnate into. The gap between quantum physics and spiritual wisdom is artificially maintained to keep humanity from recognizing its true nature and power. What makes the soul's journey after death so fascinating is the careful planning that goes into each incarnation. According to Blavatsky's channeled material, upon physical death, consciousness experiences an expansion beyond the limited perspective of human identity. The soul enters what could be called a vibrational sorting system, moving through different energetic frequencies that correspond symbolically to planetary influences. This cosmic classroom allows for processing different aspects of being: Mercury for mental patterns, Venus for relationships, Mars for will and action, Jupiter for expansion and growth, Saturn for lessons and limitations. This vibrational journey isn't punishment but education. Each stage helps the soul understand what it needs to learn next, what qualities it seeks to develop, and what karmic patterns require balancing. Unlike religious concepts of judgment, this process is entirely self-directed. The soul becomes its own most loving yet unsparing witness, seeing clearly where growth is needed without shame or blame. These revelations destroy the control system's most effective tool, fear of death and divine punishment. When you understand that your soul consciously chose your family for specific growth opportunities, the victim narrative collapses. You begin to see even your most painful family relationships as sacred agreements between souls, cosmic collaborations designed for mutual evolution. No wonder the powers that be have worked so hard to keep this knowledge from becoming mainstream awareness. If you're finding value in these hidden truths, please take a moment to share this video with someone who needs this perspective. The algorithms are designed to suppress this content, and only through direct sharing can we break through the information blockade. The most profound aspect of Blavatsky's revelations concerns what happens in the planning stages before incarnation. She described a council of wise beings who assist the soul in selecting its next life circumstances. This council doesn't dictate or judge, but offers perspective based on the soul's stated intentions for growth. Together, they review the Akashic records, the energetic library containing every thought, action, and experience across all lifetimes. This cosmic database helps the soul identify patterns needing resolution and qualities seeking expression. Family selection becomes the most crucial decision in this planning phase. The soul carefully considers which other souls can best help it learn its chosen lessons. That alcoholic father you struggled with, a soul you specifically chose to help you develop compassion, boundaries, and inner strength, the mother who never seemed to understand you, a perfectly selected teacher for self-reliance and finding validation within. These weren't cosmic accidents or punishments, but deliberately chosen classrooms for accelerated soul growth. The invisible prison that traps humanity isn't physical, it's perceptual. The control system has convinced us we're isolated biological accidents in a meaningless universe, rather than eternal souls participating in an elaborate growth experience. When you recognize that you chose your family constellation as the perfect vehicle for your evolution, you reclaim your spiritual sovereignty. You step out of victim consciousness and into the truth of your divine co-creatorship. Every spiritual tradition that touched this truth has been systematically corrupted or suppressed. The Gnostics who taught divine spark within humans were brutally eliminated. Indigenous knowledge keepers who maintained these wisdom traditions were systematically destroyed. Helena Blavatsky herself was ridiculed and discredited by the scientific and religious establishments of her time. The pattern is clear for those with eyes to see. Any teaching that reveals our true nature as choosing eternal souls threatens the control matrix. The spark of divinity within you, what Blavatsky called the higher self, cannot be extinguished despite centuries of attempted suppression. This eternal aspect of you is what made the choice to incarnate into your specific family system. It selected each relationship as a perfectly designed growth opportunity. The cosmic irony is beautiful. The very family situations the ego finds most challenging were specifically chosen by your higher self, precisely because they offered the exact resistance needed for your spiritual muscles to develop. Notice how everything around you confirms your smallness and limitation. Media, education, religion, government, all reinforce the illusion that you're a powerless biological entity subject to random circumstances rather than a divine consciousness making deliberate choices for growth. This is not accidental. A spiritually awakened humanity that understands its true nature cannot be controlled through fear, consumerism, or artificial divisions. If this message is touching something deep within you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Your engagement literally helps break through the algorithmic suppression these truths face online. The most liberating aspect of Blavatsky's revelations is how they transform our understanding of suffering. That childhood trauma, those family betrayals, the seemingly unfair challenges, all were specifically selected by your soul before birth. Not because your soul is masochistic, but because it understands that certain qualities can only be developed through particular types of resistance. Compassion emerges from experiencing pain. Forgiveness develops through being wronged, Unconditional love blossoms when conditions are difficult. The grand deception perpetuated by controlling forces is that suffering is either punishment or random bad luck. Both perspectives keep us disempowered. The hidden truth is that suffering is educational, selected by the soul itself as the most efficient path to developing specific qualities. Your difficult family wasn't a cosmic mistake. It was a precisely calibrated growth environment chosen by you at a soul level. When consciousness transitions after physical death, it doesn't enter judgment, but expansion. The soul's perspective widens dramatically, seeing the perfect orchestration behind even the most painful life experiences. It enters a phase of review where every action is experienced not only from one's own perspective, but from the perspective of everyone affected. This panoramic empathy provides profound understanding of the ripple effects of our choices without judgment or punishment. After this review, the soul enters what Blavatsky described as a period of assimilation, digesting the lessons of the just completed life. This isn't the Christian concept of heaven or hell, but a self-directed educational assessment. The soul itself determines what it learned, what remains unresolved, and what qualities it seeks to develop next. Based on these reflections, it begins to plan its next incarnation, with family selection as the central decision point. The truth about reincarnation and soul choice has been systematically removed from Western religious traditions, despite being clearly present in original teachings. The early Christian Church specifically eliminated references to reincarnation during the Council of Nicaea to strengthen institutional control. Without the understanding of multiple lives and soul choice, humans become far easier to control through fear of eternal damnation and a single lifetime to determine eternal fate. What's most remarkable about the soul's journey is the existence of soul groups, clusters of beings who incarnate together repeatedly in different relationships across many lifetimes. Your current father might have been your child in a previous life, your troublesome sibling, a parent or spouse in another incarnation. These soul contracts create an intricate dance of changing relationships specifically designed to develop the full spectrum of human experience and emotion. If you're finding this information valuable, please take a moment to share it with others who might benefit from this perspective. Together, we can break through the veil of forgetting that's been deliberately placed over humanity's spiritual awareness. The matrix of control depends on your ignorance of these spiritual mechanics. When you understand that you chose your family configuration for specific growth purposes, you move from victim to creator consciousness. You recognize that even the most difficult relationship was selected by your soul as the perfect teacher. This perspective doesn't eliminate pain, but it transforms suffering into meaningful growth. The system controllers lose their power over you the moment you reclaim your spiritual sovereignty. Your life isn't a random accident or a punishment for past sins. It's a carefully crafted curriculum created by your soul in collaboration with others. The family you incarnated into provides exactly the conditions needed for your planned evolution. That critical parent helped you develop inner validation. That neglectful caregiver taught you self-sufficiency. That challenging sibling relationship developed your patience and communication skills. Nothing was random. Everything was selected with purpose. The central deception perpetuated by religious institutions is that God or some external force judges and places you in life circumstances. Blavatsky's revelations completely invert this disempowering narrative. It is your own soul, your higher self, that makes these choices based on what you seek to learn and develop. You are not the victim of divine judgment, but the creator of your own evolutionary journey. This truth threatens every hierarchical power structure built on human disempowerment. The veil between lives exists for a reason. If you remembered everything, your past lives, your soul choices, the agreements made before birth, the game of life would lose its evolutionary potential. The forgetting is part of the design, allowing for authentic growth through seemingly real challenges. Yet as humanity evolves collectively, that veil is thinning. More people remember glimpses of their pre-birth planning or recognize the divine orchestration behind their life circumstances. If this message resonates with your inner knowing, please support it by liking, subscribing, and sharing with others who might benefit from this perspective. Each engagement helps counteract the algorithmic suppression these spiritual truths face online. As consciousness prepares to incarnate, it makes specific choices about the timing, location, culture, and family constellation that will best serve its evolutionary intentions. The soul selects parents whose genetic material, beliefs, resources, limitations, and patterns provide the precise combination of supportive and challenging elements needed. Some qualities in your parents were chosen to nurture gifts you wanted to develop. Others were selected specifically because their limitations would force you to develop strengths you lacked. This cosmic chess game is infinitely more complex than random biological reproduction. Souls often incarnate in clusters, taking turns playing various roles for each other across multiple lifetimes. The person causing you the greatest pain in this lifetime may be your greatest supporter in the soul realm, playing a difficult role by agreement to help you develop specific qualities. This perspective doesn't erase the pain, but transforms it into purposeful growth. The ultimate revelation in Blavatsky's work is that all earthly experience, especially family relationships, serves one primary purpose: the development of unconditional love. Not the greeting card version of love, but a profound capacity to see the divine spark in everyone, despite outer appearances and behaviors. The soul chooses increasingly challenging circumstances across multiple lifetimes specifically to develop this capacity beyond conditional human love into something transcendent. We aren't helpless beings subjected to random fate or cruel divine judgment. We are eternal consciousnesses temporarily wearing human form, participating in an elaborate growth experience of our own design. The family you were born into, the challenges you've faced, the relationships that have caused you pain, all were selected by your higher self as the optimal conditions for your spiritual evolution. This doesn't minimize suffering, but imbues it with profound purpose. The cosmic irony is beautiful. The very institutions claiming authority over your spiritual life have systematically hidden the truth of your spiritual authority. Churches, governments, educational systems, all have perpetuated the myth of human powerlessness to maintain control. When you reclaim the knowledge that you chose your incarnation circumstances, you step out of externally imposed limitation into the truth of your divine co-creatorship. The journey after death isn't about judgment, but expansion. Consciousness sheds its physical limitations and remembers its vast nature. It reviews the life just completed with perfect understanding of the soul agreements involved. It processes the lessons learned and identifies what remains unresolved. Then, in consultation with guides and soul family, it designs its next incarnation experience, selecting the precise family constellation needed for continued growth. You are not a biological accident. You are not being punished for past sins. You are a divine consciousness on an evolutionary journey of your own design. The family you incarnated into, with all its gifts and challenges, was specifically selected by you at a soul level as the perfect classroom for the lessons you chose to learn. This truth has been hidden because it is the ultimate key to human liberation from systems of control. We're witnessing a global awakening to these hidden truths. Despite centuries of suppression, the knowledge of soul choice and reincarnation is resurging into collective awareness. This isn't accidental, but part of a cosmic timeline where humanity reclaims its spiritual sovereignty. Each person who awakens to these truths becomes a fractal of liberation, affecting countless others through an energetic ripple effect that transcends physical limitation. The time has come to remember who you really are and why you chose this particular family. You are not a victim of circumstance, but a powerful soul temporarily wearing human form, participating in an elaborate growth experience of your own design. The divine spark within you, what Blavatsky called the higher self, selected each relationship as a perfectly calibrated opportunity for evolution. In this remembering lies true freedom, not freedom from challenge, but freedom from the illusion of victimhood. We stand at the threshold of a collective awakening where humanity reclaims its spiritual heritage. The knowledge that Helena Blavatsky channeled about soul choice and reincarnation isn't just fascinating metaphysics, it's the key to liberating human consciousness from artificial limitation. When you understand that you chose your family for specific growth purposes, you step into your power as a divine co-creator rather than a helpless biological accident. This awakening cannot be stopped. The truth of who we really are is emerging, despite centuries of attempted suppression. We are eternal souls on a journey of expansion, temporarily wearing human form, choosing increasingly challenging circumstances to develop unconditional love. And in this remembering, we are finally free.